The Red Raiders showing the world they are ready to stomp with the big dogs on Saturday. We saw that making a statement against number 16 Utah and reeled off 3 straight touchdowns to secure the win 34-10, along with forcing 4 turnovers against the Utes here. It's a different day in the Big 12. The Red Raiders have a bye before they hit Houston on October 4th. But taking a look at what this means, take a look at the recruiting. Also up in the world there, national ranking at 22. You talk about, 5 4-stars, 1 5-star there, and points. It's a pretty good day to be a Red Raider. Let's just say it's totally different, at least from what we saw on Saturday, as well as that record. All right, for more college football, what more we can see here, Brandon Huffman along with Tom Loy. And fellas, and Tom, I'll start with you. The Red Raiders helping their case here with that roadie dub, along with snagging a few recruits along the way. What are you hearing about the buzz after this big weekend?
There's a ton of buzz right now in Lubbock, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. I mean, they are 4-0. It looks like they are going to be, barring a setback, we're talking college football playoff, potential national championship run. And then on the recruiting trail, they have landed so many difference makers. You're talking elite edge rusher LaDamian Guyton. They just picked up and flipped top 247 offensive lineman Bryce Gilmore. Most recently, they picked up Kadrian Redmond, one of the top defensive linemen in the country. And they are not stopping soon because we like them to land Jalen Brewster, the #1 defensive lineman in the 2027 class, when he announces his decision on October 4th. So Joey McGuire has things cooking on Texas Tech right now. It is really, really ramping up right now. They are going to be a force for the next couple years.
And I think if you look at what they're doing on the recruiting trail, it's obviously carrying over into the portal.
Yeah, we're seeing that there with that national ranking there. For some of those programs, you talk about it, adding those L's to the column there. Oklahoma State, Clemson, and Florida, question marks about those programs there. But Brandon, how does that hot seat impact the recruiting trail for some of those coaches?
Well, I think if you look at Florida and Clemson, they're both in the top 20. There's been talk all offseason about Billy Napier. Does he need to win to save his job? With Dabo, he's been pretty adamant that he's not going to change his ways, and it hasn't impacted their recruiting. When guys commit to Dabo Swinney and Clemson, they know what they're getting. They know what he stands for. But Oklahoma State's in a completely different boat. As we talk about Texas Tech and the impact that this recruiting class is making, Oklahoma State was one of the original Texas Techs with the T. Boone Pickens money, and now we got Mike Gundy, feigning that he can't compete in this environment, in this layout, and it's trickling down to the recruiting class. They've got the 12th best class in the Big 12. They are, I think, only 2 other schools in the conference have as few commits as they do, and with the week by week fallout that Oklahoma State has had, it's certainly impacting the recruiting in the 2026 class, but it's going to have a bigger impact in 27 and in 28 because those are the guys that they're really targeting right now, and they're going and they're seeing a program that has just hit some serious roadblocks in where they want to be as a program, where the rest of the Big 12 has gone. And I think that Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State is probably feeling the biggest impact. We see they're right ahead of UCLA in the rankings. UCLA was a top 25 class until they fired Deshaun Foster. Oklahoma State is barely in the top 60, and that's with Mike Gundy as coach. If there's a firing there, that class could fall apart even more.
Yeah, Huffman nailed it when it comes to Oklahoma State. But if I could touch on Clemson real quick and Florida. With Clemson, these guys are completely locked in. They chose the Tigers for things well beyond wins and losses, especially when they have no impact on the current games. They chose Clemson for the big picture, for the academics, for the athletics, and to play for head coach Dabo Swinney. That is the kicker. So if he were to hit the hot seat, if he were to be let go, if he were to leave Clemson, this class would fall apart. But he's going to stay. His job's not in jeopardy. This class is not going to fall apart. With Florida, you have guys already taking visits, looking around. They see that the future is not necessarily all roses right now under Billy Napier. So there's going to be some attrition in that class. There's going to be some guys leaving, whether he stays or whether he goes. We are talking about 2 different scenarios when it comes to Clemson and Florida right now.
Some gator bait there when it comes to Gainesville, question marks, and even my co-anchor Zach Aldridge has questions and sweating bullets as you guys talk bad about his program, but rightfully so from what we've seen there. By the way, I'm a man, I'm 40. 16 years ago today when it comes to Gun Day 2. Shout out to him for giving us that slogan there. We got a big game on CBS with plenty of recruiting impact. And Brandon, if you're Washington looking at this game, what does a win do for the future recruits at that program?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. That Jedd Fisch has made no mistake that he wants to recruit the in-state recruits, and they've already got a commitment from the #1 player in the state in 2026, and Derek Coleman-Brusa, who chose Washington over Ohio State. They've got coming in on Saturday. They got the #1 player in 2027 in state, Tavita Nonu, out of Seattle, coming to the game. They have the #1 recruit in the state in 2028, Ty McNeil, the top tight end in the country, also coming. But what's also going to be significant is they had 2 commits in state that were committed to UCLA, Ramsek Fruin and David Schwarzel, both committed to UCLA, both decommitted on the heels of the Deshaun Foster firing. Washington was the runner-up for both of them. They will both be in Husky Stadium on Saturday. So it's not just the long-term impact. They could end up getting 2 of the top 3 players to join the top player in 2026. But from a national standpoint, this is the kind of win that doesn't just get you those local recruits. This doesn't just quite get you those regional recruits. It gets you those national recruits. There's going to be players coming from out of state that Ohio State is recruiting, that Ohio State has successfully recruited at that school. Players from St. John Bosco, the #1 team in the country. Noah Roberts, the #1 running back out west, who was at Ohio State for the season opener against Texas. He's at the same high school that Damon Williams started at before he went to Washington. He will be in Husky Stadium. So Washington can not just make an impact in the 2027 and 2028 class, they could even see the immediate fallout of a win on Saturday with those in-state recruits, but then the national perception of Jedd Fisch, whose name's going to be linked to that Florida job because he went to school at Florida. If he gets this win on Saturday, this kind of recruiting effort could be the kind of thing that keeps him in Seattle for the long term.
Yeah, obviously this game is massive for Washington. They could use a huge national win here. For Ohio State, look, they have a top 10 recruiting class. They're the #1 team in America. They're coming off a national championship. They don't need this win for national exposure or anything when it comes to recruiting. That said, again, they have a top 10 recruiting class. They have a couple guys, when you're talking about Chris Henry and Oregon, when you're talking about Blaine Bradford, linebacker, safety, looking at LSU. These are 2 of the top players in America. They're kind of looking at some other schools right now. I think a win, a dominant win, obviously showing that they're still rolling, that they have things cooking under Ryan Day for years to come. It's going to further cement their status with the Buckeyes. But again, this win could work wonders for the Washington Huskies. For Ohio State, it's all about just keeping things rolling.
We just saw that Ohio State, they have 7 3-stars committed to the school. One of those, Angelo Smith, that last name, the younger brother of Jeremiah Smith. For folks at home, he's not 6'4". He's not a freak like Big Brother. But your thoughts on this, maybe, Tom? I mean, this is just like keeping the family happy here?
No, this kid is a hard-hitting, nasty, instinctive, and intellectual, smart defensive back. This kid is a kid who will go to Ohio State and actually turn some heads. He's a thumper. He embraces contact. I really like this pickup for Ohio State, and he said it very clearly. It wouldn't make sense for him to go anywhere else. He's not just following his big brother and Jeremiah Smith to Ohio State. He's going to go there and put a name for himself.
And I think you also have all last offseason, even 2 seasons ago when he enrolled at Ohio State, there was the talk, was Jeremiah Smith going to stick with the Buckeyes? Was he going to transfer to one of the in-state schools? I think the commitment of his younger brother shows that Jeremiah Smith's next stop will not be another college. It won't be a school in Florida. It will be the NFL. While they may not ever cross paths together in Columbus, I think it shows that the Smith family is very happy with where Ryan Day has the Ohio State program for their family.
If I'm Ryan Day, can you just give me one more year with baby bro? Just one more year. That's all I'm asking for you. Obviously, it probably won't happen. Even producer Tully's like, I'm hoping. Of course, he's a Buckeyes fan, but we will see. Brandon and Tom, appreciate it.